Hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. As summer has hit its peak, many arts and entertainment facilities are having full seasons. It's also a popular time for farmers markets, which I'll be discussing. However, as I'll be mentioning, you need to be careful, as Massachusetts has hit a drought. And I'll be bringing back a history of Wahconah Park, as it struggles with its no bleacher rule. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, how many teams have called Wahconah Park home? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, it's time to revisit farmers markets in Berkshire County. Before I begin, it's important to remember that the state of Massachusetts is in a drought. According to data released by the U.S. Drought Monitor, quote, Western Berkshire County is experiencing abnormally dry conditions, while Eastern Berkshire County and most of the rest of the state are in a moderate drought, end quote. Furthermore, according to the Energy and Environmental Affairs Secretary, Beth Card, 90% of Massachusetts is in a drought and is now in a, quote, level 2 significant drought in the Northeast. As a result of this, some of the most popular vendors may not be selling their normal crops. As an example, the drought is severely affecting the blueberry crop. You may see significantly less vendors as a result of this. Also, because some of the farmers and businesses are using their own irrigation and their own water supplies, prices may be up slightly to compensate. The reason why they are irrigating is because it is meant to ensure that essential needs like drinking water and fire protection can be met. This helps by not using their city and town's water supplies. Farmers markets will never totally disappear. They will just be different in this environment. With all of this in mind, it's time to begin the review of Berkshire County's farmers markets. Let's start up north in North Adams. Their farmers market runs from now through October 22nd. It will be held on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at St. Elizabeth parking lot, near St. Anthony's Drive and Marshall Street. In Williamstown, their farmers market runs until October 22nd. It will go on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the base of Spring Street. In Lanesboro, the Berkshire Area Farmers Market will be taking place on Saturdays, the parking lot of the former Berkshire Mall, from 8 to 2 p.m. until October 29th. In Pittsfield, theirs is located at the Common Park at 100 First Street. It is the only teen-run farmers market in Berkshire County. It will take place from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. In West Stockbridge, theirs will be held at the Foundry Green on Harris Street on Thursdays from now until October 6th. Hours are 3 to 6 p.m. Next, in Great Barrington, theirs will take place at 18 Church Street on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. until November. The Lee Farmers Market will be held at 25 Park Place from now until October 8th. This will take place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Finally, Sheffield's Farmers Market will be held at the Old Parish Church parking lot on Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. The summer version of this farmers market will be held until October 7th. Mask requirements vary depending on the farmers market itself. If you have any questions, you can visit the website berkshiregrown.org. There, you can further visit the specific websites for all the farmers markets I have mentioned. Again, please remember about the drought situation that I discussed at the beginning of this segment. The Berkshire Museum in Pittsfield will be hosting several new art exhibits. The first is the Art of the Hills, Visual Evidence. This is a juried art exhibit that highlights the rich, creative culture of the Berkshire region, while also highlighting both emerging and establishing the artists in the area. There will be 20 artists who are going to be on display. Visit the Berkshire Museum's website for the full list of exhibited artists. This will be on display until September. The other exhibit going on is Living Ink. This will explore the history, science, and culture of tattooing. The amount of artistry involved in tattooing has been highlighted in shows such as Ink Masters. Artists such as Seth Arcane, Lindsay Baker, Caleb Kopitz, Carson Foley, Candace Lane, and more will be on display. This will be showing at the Berkshire Museum from now until October 30th. Hours for the Berkshire Museum vary. Visit berkshiremuseum.org for all information. Masks are required, but proof of COVID vaccine is not. The Mount in Lenox will be hosting a concert series called In the Dell. This is a reimagined concert series that expands upon the former Jazz on the Terrace model to include a diverse range of musical styles and influences. These range from indie jazz to global blues rock. The concerts in August are as follows. On August 4th, Heard World Jazz. On August 11th, Misty Blues. And on August 18th, the Pamela Means Jazz Project, which will close out the summer. All concerts will be held on Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Tickets for these shows are extremely limited. Visit the Mount's website shown here to purchase. 100% of ticket proceeds will be directed to Cash for Refugees in support of Ukrainian relief efforts. The Mount is located on 2 Plunkett Street in Lenox. Masks and proof of COVID information are required for this event. The Eagles Community Band will be hosting a series of free concerts. The Eagles Band is the largest continuing performing ensemble band in the Berkshires. Here are the dates and places. Sunday, August 14th, at Firehouse Pavilion in Hinsdale at 134 Maple Street, 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 16th, at the Commons, 7 p.m. And Friday, November 4th, at Colonial Theater, at a time to be determined. Visit eaglescommunityband.org for more information. Masks are required, but proof of COVID vaccine depends on the venue. Shakespeare and Company in Lenox will be performing a tense new play titled A Walk in the Woods. In this play, two superpower arms negotiators, a Russian and an American, meet informally in the pleasant woods on the outskirts of Geneva. The Russian, Botnavik, is urbane and humorous, but also seasoned and cynical. His American counterpart, Honeyman, is inquisitive and determined, fervently hopeful about what can and must be achieved to maintain peace. They continue their informal meetings, and through these conversations, develop a friendship that belies the antagonisms of the world order. The show was written by Lee Blessing and directed by James Warwick. This will be a two-person show. The actors will be Shakespeare and Company artistic director Olin Burrows and Jonathan Epstein. A Walk in the Woods will be going on from now until September 4th. It will be performed at the Roman Garden Theater. Times vary. Visit Shakespeare.org to purchase your tickets. As per usual, masks and proof of COVID vaccination are required. The Clark Art Museum in Williamstown will be hosting a new exhibit highlighting two separate artists. The artists are Yuji Ejimatsu and Tauba Arbak. According to the Clark's website, quote, "For Yuji Ejimatsu and his practice of walking, collecting, and archiving, the word meander implies drift. Both his own paths through New York City and those of other people and things. Ejimatsu's handheld sculptures are like small worlds. The flotsam he finds, foil wrapper, spent fireworks, a fishbone, interests him both aesthetically and anthropologically. Each object marks the time of the artist's daily ritual, the space of the city, and the movement of people and things," end quote. As for Arbak, this twisting, self-avoiding line traces the global tradition of ornament as much as physical and waveforms and space-filling curves in geometry. The artist's restless experimentation in a range of media produce work that is as rigorous as it is visually arresting. Calligraphic drawing, infrared imaging, and large format paintings are all part of Arbak's complex and expanding universe, end quote. This exhibit will be going on from now until October. Visit clarkart.edu to purchase your tickets. Masks and proof of vaccine are required for this event. Wahconah Park is one of the most famous stadiums for minor, collegiate, and independent baseball. and has been the feature of several books and articles. While baseball has been played at 105 Wahconah Street since 1892, the actual stadium was not built until 1919. Recently, the stadium was named part of Boston Globe's 40 Tiny Perfect Things About Summer in New England. In fact, it even made the front page, as shown in this picture, located in the middle left-hand side. This comes as Wahconah Park is coming in a difficult year. The bleachers are closed to the public, and the stadium will be undergoing a nearly $3 million improvement plan, led by Parks, Open Space, and Natural Resource Program Commissioner James McGrath. This comes despite the Pittsfield Suns celebrating their 10th anniversary at Wahconah Park. Since Wahconah Park may be changing, it's important to look back on its history. Famed local architect Joseph MacArthur Vance helped construct the park. He also built the original Colonial Theater, Springside Park, and Mahawi Theater, among other Berkshire County institutions. The stadium was built with a wooden grandstand. It is one of the last remaining stadiums to have one, as most baseball parks have gone with stadium seating. It's also been the home to some very special baseball games. For instance, on May 3rd, 2009, alumni from Williams College and Amherst College played a baseball game under 1859 rules. This was to commemorate the 150th anniversary of college baseball. The event's popularity was helped in no small part due to Amherst graduate, former Red Sox owner, and Dalton native Dan Duquette, who helped organize the event. Wahconah Park also brings us the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, how many teams have called Wahconah Park home? The answer is 17. The first team to play at Wahconah Park were the Pittsfield Electrics, who played there for only 2 years. After 5 years of no teams due to World War I, the Pittsfield Hillies played there from 1919 to 1930. The combination of the Great Depression and World War II saw another pause. It wasn't until 1941 when another team called the Electrics played there. They played there for 10 years and had 3 names: Electrics, Indians, and Phillies. Another long break happened between 1951 and 1965. Afterwards, Pittsfield joined the Eastern League. Their teams had 5 versions: Red Sox, Senators, Rangers, the Berkshire Brewers, and Cubs. Then, in 1989, they had their longest running team in the Pittsfield Mets of the New York Penn League from 1989 to 2000, before being renamed the Astros for their final season in 2001. This marked the last minor league affiliated team. Ever since then, Pittsfield teams have been either Summer League or Independent League. It started with the Berkshire Black Bears beginning in 2002, followed by the Pittsfield Dukes, and briefly the American Defenders. For 2 years, the Pittsfield Colonials played in the Canadian American League. Finally, the Pittsfield Suns are the most recent version. They have played in the Futures League since 2012. On the last episode of WWHEN, I discussed how going to the Berkshire Athenaeum was a great trip and an underappreciated arts and entertainment gem. For this episode, we'll be continuing our trips to local libraries. This time, we'll be visiting the North Adams Public Library, or NAPL. First, a brief history about the library. In 1884, the town of North Adams voted to have a sum of $2,500 to establish and maintain a public library in rented rooms at the Davenport block on Main Street. 8 years later, the building moved to the Richardson House near the corner of North Church and East Main Streets. Shortly thereafter, the building moved to its current location on 74 Church Street. In 1896, Albert Hoyton, the first mayor of North Adams, purchased the former Sanford Blacken residence and gave it to the city for a public library. He also donated $10,000 to make the building suitable for use as a library. During the pandemic, the physical library closed along with most city and private properties. Library staff rose to the occasion, however. They adapted new services, and the North Adams community continued to depend on NAPL for reliable information and a chance to borrow books, videos, and audiobooks via its curbside pickup. Now, the library is back open for day-to-day business. The North Adams Public Library is part of the C.W. Mars program that I talked about last episode. This is for interloaning. If you can't find an item at the North Adams Public Library, you can search the C.W. Mars website catalog to see if it's available at another location via its interloan system. Once you find the item, you can make a request at the main desk for the book. You must have a library card in order to do so, and ordering a card is free. Shipping time should take a week. It's time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. This episode, we'll be discussing the 2021 film Eternals. For over 7,000 years, a group of ageless, superpowered beings known as the Eternals were sent to Earth by the powerful cosmic deities known as the Celestials. They have been secretly assisting humanity throughout their history while defending them from their evil counterparts, a monstrous race known as the Deviants, but they never directly intervene in any major conflicts unless the Deviants were involved. Centuries after the Eternals' mission to defeat them seemingly ended, Deviants have reappeared in the present day. With the Avengers seemingly disbanded, the 10 Eternals must reunite in order to defend their planet from their ancient enemy, all while an event known as the Emergence is set to happen in only 7 days. So, what did I think about this movie? The first half of Eternals lives up to its name. This portion of the movie is very long, with a lot of backstory and flashbacks. It gets a little frustrating. However, the movie picks up in the second half with the humor, fight scenes, and characterizations we've come to know and love from Marvel. The best thing about Eternals, however, is its diversity. For the first time in Marvel Cinematic Universe history, we have both an openly gay superhero and a deaf superhero, whose actress, Lauren Ridloff, is also deaf. Neither of these characters are treated any differently because of their differences. They're just part of the team. On the scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I give Eternals a 7. The movie is a hard sell at first, but its typical Marvel action scenes and its diversity shine. That ends this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit Pittsfield TV's and CTSB TV's websites shown here, or visit NBCTC's Facebook page. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry. Thank you.